I'm John Hinkle, the senior pastor of First Presbyterian Church here in downtown Murfreesboro on the corner of College and Spring. This is your Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon, which I'm doing on a rainy Friday afternoon. So I hope your Saturday morning is going well, and you've already had your maybe second, third, if you're like maybe fourth cup of coffee. But I want to kind of tell you what we're going to talk about. We are still focused on Paul's first letter to Timothy, as he continues to write Timothy about the need for the church to be the church as we wait for the second coming of Jesus. Meaning, when Jesus comes again, we believe he comes again, will the church be ready? Meaning, will we be doing what Jesus called us to do on Pentecost Sunday? And so we kind of been working through this. And one of the things that I realized last Sunday when I got home after I preached on Timothy was that in many ways, Paul's focus goes from like a mile-high view to where he's a few feet off the ground. What I mean by that is Paul initially talks about the whole church. If you look at chapter 1, it really is kind of about the whole church. How is the whole church the church as the church does what the church is supposed to do as we wait on Jesus? Then we make kind of this shift where our focus is a little bit more in sync with how we talked about the qualifications of how people become elders. So that's a little one. It's not talking about the whole church. It's just talking about a subgroup of the church, if you will, those who are ruling elders in the church. And then he comes down a little bit more where he talks about, if you remember, Timothy. He specifically talks about Timothy as a minister in the church. And remember, there were those in the church that thought Timothy should be disqualified from leadership within the church because of his age, because he was young. Well, in many ways, it's not just this. It's not just kind of focusing us, but it's kind of a circle. And now I think Paul is making this a full circle because Paul continues to talk about Timothy personally. He's talking about the way Timothy is living his life. He says in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verses 24 and 25, sins of some are obvious, reaching the place of judgment ahead of them. The sins of others trail behind them. In the same way, and this is kind of our focus, in the same way, good deeds are obvious, even when those who are not obvious cannot remain hidden, even those that are not obvious cannot remain hidden forever. So as I was kind of thinking about this text, one of the things that I kind of realized is the question of why we do good. Why do we good? Now listen, I am a Calvinist. Not a very good Calvinist, but a Calvinist. And you know by now that you can never be good enough. Don't tell me somebody's good. I know that there are good things that people do, but deep down, all of us, as we talked about several weeks ago, all of us are broken. We come into the church as broken people. And so the question is, when we do good, and I think we do good, the question is why? Why do we do good? For what purpose? Well, one of the things that I realized is we have to be careful. We have to be careful when we think we're doing good and for whom we are doing good for. And we have to be careful about what we expect in return. So that is what we're going to talk about this Sunday. I look forward to being with you. I haven't done it in a while. Shout out to the clerk and Glenn Emery, and shout out to the Fraleys and Marcy Richmond and all you who are faithful watchers of Saturday morning preview of Sunday morning sermon. Y'all have a great day.